Tweet or delete. This is where we offer up some tweets that may or may not be in some sort of fictional saved draft folder somewhere in some Twitter account, and we decide whether we would tweet them or delete them to go into Twitter hell forever. So let's go through them. We have 5 prepared here. Here is number 1. Speaking of claps, here's a tweet. Would you tweet this, Tyler? Caps is one of the top 10 players of all time.
Ooh, I've not seen these, so let me think about it in my mind a second before I react. So I tweeted today that Caps is the greatest Western player of all time. He's the GOAT. No disrespect to Perks, so I think he's the second best Western player of all time. But in the last 3 years, Caps has won all 6 domestic titles, 1 MSI, been to 2 World Finals, and now is in another semifinal, and on could be to 3 straight World Finals, which has only been done by SKT, Faker, Bengi, Bang, Wolf, those guys before. So it's a really, really tough call. Top 10 all time. Today, or am I tweeting this now, or am I tweeting this after day 1, after Worlds is done? Like, when am I tweeting?
Okay, that's what I want to ask you actually, and I really want to get your opinion on this.
Yeah.
If G2 wins Worlds, okay, hypothetical scenario, G2 wins Worlds, what does that do for Caps' legacy?
Top 5
of all time, no matter what.
All time, no matter what. He's top 5, no matter what.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
3 World Finals. He gets the World Finals. He has an MSI. Plethora of domestic titles. He is a top 5 player all time. Doesn't matter if you're Korean, Chinese, North American. There is no North American. It's the top 10, but Western, Eastern, does not matter. He's a top 5 player all time, in my opinion. If he wins Worlds this year, and he's a star of the show. If he has like a let's say he just plays terribly somehow, and he actually carried to a World Championship, and then maybe we have a discussion if he's top 5. But there's almost no way that G2 in this formation is making the World Finals or even winning the World Championship without Caps playing at the Caps level. So if Caps wins a world title, he's a top 5 player all time. Right now, would I tweet this? Yeah, I'll tweet this. He's top 10 player all time. I'll say it. I don't know where he is on the top 10.
What do you think, if you were to make a poll on your Twitter account, what do you think the results would be? Yes or no? Like, if you were to put out a poll.
I'd say 70-30. 70-30.
Do you want me to do
that? You want me to do that right now? It's like, let's actually just do
why
this
not?
live on the show. Live on the show.
Why not? We'll come back to it.
to it. Yeah. Is Caps
a
chat
is decisively yes. There's been nobody that has said no in chat. I'm gonna guess it's 100% for chat, but I'm curious what Twitter would say. Caps is a top 10 player all time, any region, nothing. Maxis998 in chat says if he wins Worlds, he's definitely top 5, but it's hard. Who throw some other names? Faker, Uzi.
So Faker and Uzi are definitely 1 and 2. Okay, I put this poll at, let's put it at 20 minutes, so we'll have it for the end of the show.
Okay.
Yes or no. So if you want to go to my Twitter and vote if you think he's a top 10 player all time today, go do that right now. Feed on Fire at Twitter.
I just voted yes.
So Faker, he's number 1. No one's close. Uzi's definitely number 2. Then it gets a bit, and then you have Mada probably number 3. Those are probably are locked in 1, 2, 3. And then after that, it gets a lot difficult. I think Rookie's probably top 5. He has the world title. He has the domestic title in Korea and China. So I think it's Rookie, Uzi, Mada, Faker, top 4. And then I think it's a bit harder. And I do think if Caps wins, I think he's on the same level as Rookie. And Rookie, I would say, is solidly number 4, maybe even over Mada these days as a number 3 player all time. So I think the top 4 for me right now, if I did, gun to head, have to do this quickly. Faker's number 1, no debate. Number 2 is Uzi. Number 3 Mada. Number 4 Rookie. Number 5 probably Bang. I think Bang gets overlooked a lot because he's the Scottie Pippen, right? It's always difficult to rate. He has 2 world titles.
Pippen never gets his due. Never gets his due.
So I think it's always going to be a thing of like Bang was amazing, and he was he was always on those SKT teams, the team that went to 3 straight World Finals, but he's never going to get the due course of Faker because, again, Faker won without Bang, won the 2013 world title. I think Bang's top 10. I think, again, it's a lot of arguments, but I think the top 4 right now are Faker, Uzi, Mada, Rookie, in any order except Faker. Faker's obviously number 1. I do think if Caps wins this world title, he joins that pantheon of those 4 players, and he's in the top 5. On the other end, though, if Jackie Love wins Worlds and he gets a second title on his second different team, the first player to ever win 2 Summoners Cups, on separate teams, he's in the top 5.
Ooh.
So there's a lot riding on. There's a lot of legacies on the line here from all 4 teams in the semifinals. So very excited to look back on this.
The Mount Rushmore could change.
Ooh, yes.
Depending on the results. I like this. This is great. Another storyline to add to the list. Speaking of storylines, one player is leaving Overwatch League and returning to competitive League of Legends. Would you tweet or delete this? Gamsu will be on a team next year. If you didn't hear the news, Gamsu has left Overwatch League. He played with the Boston Uprising, Shanghai Dragons, and Dallas Fuel for several seasons. Before that, of course, he was a League of Legends pro, and he played in 3 different regions before joining Overwatch League. And now he's left OWL to pursue competitive League of Legends again. So, tell me, Tyler, what do you think of his chances of making a pro team at any level next year?
I would say I would tweet this if this includes Academy or our Challenger teams. I think he could definitely find himself on a Korean Challenger or maybe even a North American Challenger team. I would kind of yell at any team that gave him a starting spot after not like it's not like Gamsu was a very good player, a very solid player in his day. He was not Marin. It's not like Marin's coming back from retirement and dusting off the keyboard and mouse and Marin's coming back and then maybe okay, Marin's back. Give him a starting job in the LCK or the LCS. Pro team in terms of a challenger team, sure. I think he deserves. He's one of the most positive, wholesome, good teammate guys. He's a really good in the locker room guy. So I don't think bringing him back and giving him a chance on like an academy squad would hurt anyone. I think in the worst case scenario, he's not good enough to start, but he's a player that can help younger players in the academy system in career in A kind of level up. So academy, yes. Pro team, hell no, unless he just is secretly godly at the game still, and he's been practicing quietly underneath his Overwatch League for the last 3 years. But yes, on academy team.
I am 100% tweeting this next one, if nothing else than to impression farm, and I'm also going to tag Nadeshot in it. 100 Thieves Chovy. And in fact, actually, Tyler, in fact, I'm going to Photoshop Chovy's face on 100 Thieves, or I'm going to Photoshop 100 Thieves jersey onto Chovy. 100%. 100% tweeted. Don't even care if it happens. Of course. That's minimum 1,000 likes. You tweet that's 2,000 likes, buddy. Come on, at least.
I mean, they have the money. They have the money, so it's not like money would be an issue. They could offer a dumb $5 million deal if they wanted to for Chovy. It would pair him and Someday up, I guess. Chovy and Someday would be your core, which is, you're going to win. You're most likely going to win LCS with Chovy and Someday. At the very worst, you're still going to Worlds if you have those 2 players on your team. I don't care what kind of mess you bring in from the domestic talent again around those 2 solo laners. You would have to be you would actually have to be inting to not make Worlds with those 2 players as your solo laners. But no, I still think it's going to be LPL Chovy or LCK. I think he either stays with his mentor CV Max, or he takes the big bag to China and he goes to a JDG with Kanavi, or he goes to a random low-level LPL team trying to make a splash, right? Where, maybe an OMG after years of being kind of once a grand organization in China has kind of lost its luster. Maybe they want to bring in Chovy and re-up their game, or WE wants to bring them in and go from, a perennial playoff team to a world's contender. So I still am on the side of LPL Chovy. 100 T Chovy, though, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, I could interview him more and we can become best friends and go in and out. So that'd be awesome. But I would not tweet that.
You wouldn't, honestly, not even. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you could do it to troll, not because you believe it. I would tweet it just to troll. Of course, of course, I tweet it.
On like the day of free agency, I tweet that just to troll. But overall, I'm not believing in it. So that's my case. That's my case.
Fair, totally fair. But okay, to troll, we're tweeting it. Let's just leave it at that. Just to be total trolls and impression farm. Why not? Gen.G will rebuild their roster for 2021. So this is an interesting one because both their supports are free agents now, Kellen and Life, with contracts expiring. Everyone else is at least signed until 2021. That's the only person actually is Rascal, and the other remaining players are signed until 2022. What do you think happens to Gen.G now?
Stay the same. Stay the course. This is the opposite of our discussion yesterday with Fnatic, right? Where Fnatic, this was their meta. The mid lane wasn't supposed to be the carry. It wasn't the necessary crown jewel in these compositions, and they still weren't able to get past the quarterfinals. Where I'm like, yes, if you want to change Nemesis and have a more flexible, wider champion pool, a better hard carry, then yeah, change them out. And also the 2-year rule of Fnatic mids makes sense, in the pattern wise. But for Gen.G, I think this wasn't their meta. I don't think, obviously, I think you see Clid and you think of Clid as this hard carry. He hasn't really been that great this year. I think he's been decent, but he hasn't been to the highs of his LPL days or even his SKT days of last year. So I think you stay the course. Obviously, you're going to keep Ruler. I think BD did not have a good ending this tournament. I gave him a 1 out of 10, but I still think he's one of the best mid laners in the world. This, again, not their meta. And I think that you can roll the dice on just running this back. Try to G2 it, come back to the same 5, keep Life. If you want to let Kellen go, let him go. I think Ruler and Life are still a really strong bottom lane. So I stay the course. Keep these 5 players. It was not your meta. Carrying through the bot lane in this meta is quite difficult. So 2021, roll it back. Let's run it back.